How's it going, guys? Yo, 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 yo. It's late. How did y'all do for FOMC? Sub DB85. Oh. How was that good old Sup, Scott? Y'all do okay for FOMC day? Nice. I had a very small day today. It was tough. It was tougher than the chart looks. Like, looking at these charts, it was like, man, there were a lot of plays. I don't know. I think there were. I don't think I was in like the mental space. I'll talk about that in a second. Like, to kind of get it and to trade really well. Like, I wasn't trading great. You took some overnights, Evening James. You took overnights like tonight or from last night? And are you looking at neck? Would y'all be interested in a swing trade portion to the Discord? I've started creating a kind of room for it. Okay, yesterday and today. You do okay in them? I mean, the market did open up, so I guess if you're taking longs, you did all right. For the Discord, I'm creating 2 new like categories and kind of rooms for swing trade ideas and overnight ideas of people taking them to kind of, for the people who like to do that, because I know we have a lot of different kind of traders here and a lot of different people that do a lot of different things. Oh, you're like holding on. It's like long term. Yeah, even for stuff like that, just for people to say this is like what I'm looking at and this is what I'm doing. You know, obviously you're not giving advice or anything, but just to kind of allow people to kind of see and to maybe look at the same things, or to give confidence and to give people kind of a place to talk about some of that stuff. I mean, I know everybody can talk about it in the main kind of Discord, but I don't think it would hurt to have a place dedicated to it that would allow people to, like, you know, do their thing and focus on certain names. Because not everyone's a quick scalper. So the more value we can add and the more that we can kind of bring out of people and have people who have skills in different areas, you know, I think it'd be cool. So I'm working on that. And I'm actually working on doing a trade review, like talking with Drew. We're still kind of working through finding a way to incorporate some of that into the Discord, the trade review, so people can look back and have a spot where they can look at certain trades and talk about certain trades. And like, oh, I took this one because of this, or posted, or this didn't work. Can you guys look at it and tell me what you think? So kind of, you know, those are 2 rooms or 2 kind of areas of this Discord we're trying to add in the short term to kind of give people maybe a fuller experience that want to kind of look at different things and maybe want to get involved, but, you know, don't like doing call outs or don't like doing this, but, you know, might not mind doing other things during the day. So, you know, even stuff like, you know, Praveen and others do, like, I'm playing Amazon, or I'm playing Tesla, or these names, like, hey, they hit VWAP and they failed, they hit VWAP and they failed, here's how I play it, and you just show like those 3 trades, entries and exits and different stuff like that, you know. And there's a lot of other stuff too, so some things that are coming whenever I get the time. Good news. So first, what I'm about to say is not financial advice, or, I mean, we'll kick it off. I mean, we're just hanging out, but if you guys are trading, I can't tell you what to do. This is me talking to myself. If you guys are trading and you're looking to make this a full-time job, I highly recommend making it a an LLC, trading out of an LLC. If you plan on getting a loan, if you plan on using this money as anything, the thing that will help you a lot is having your trading done under an LLC. And I can tell you that just the loan experience I'm going through, and I know Jason S. and some other people have done loan stuff in here, and Scott and others are like underwriters and people that work with you know, loans and stuff. And I heard back from my loan guy today, and yeah, having everything, because the half of the year or a quarter of the year, for 1/4 of the year I traded under my personal account, and then the rest of the year I traded under an LLC. And let me tell you, like, it's so easy for the loan and everything else. If everything's under an LLC, it's like, okay, this is easy. When you start mixing in personal money, and it's like, you know, you're trading with a personal account that's under your social, not under a business, oh, it's so different, and it makes things so much more complicated. So yeah, just a little bit of, not advice, but just my experience. We'll just say that. It's not my advice. It's just my experience to you. If you're looking to do this, and unless you have $500,000 laying around in cash and you don't care, you know, it might be helpful to, you know, to do that. That's just my thoughts on the matter and my experience with the loan process. But all in all, things are going good. I hope to have, I was talking with Corey Ditter today about doing some stuff behind the scenes and doing some stuff in April, starting pushing out a lot more content on the channel, creating, you know, some new update stuff, a lot of different stuff, a lot of different you know, just a lot of different things. So hopefully there'll be we'll have a lot of stuff coming soon. I know I keep saying it, but I really have to get through this loan process and this whole, like, getting my other house closed on, because I'm I put a lot of money into the house that we had built, and the date for closing's coming up, and getting like all the dates of the sale of this house and all this stuff are like all happening together. So I have a lot of random stuff that I have to do, and it's definitely taken up mental space for me. What up, Dyer? It's taken up like a ton of mental space, and it's kind of stressing me out, and not like to the extreme, but so I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit tonight, and like trading when you're off, because I was off today and I was missing my trades by like half a second or 2 seconds, and I was like losing on trades I should win on, breaking even on trades, and I was just like, man, I'm just off. And that's partially why some of the reason I'm not doing a lot extra when it comes to setting stuff up and content, and why I want to push it. But it's kind of like, and also my sitter was out today, so it was or a nanny, and so I had the twins, and so it was like the trades I wanted, because I was slow. When I'm slow, well, let's kick off with the intro. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about having stuff on your plate when you notice you're slow, when you notice things are a certain way, you know, trading when you're having a hard time, when something's just off, plowing through it. What about the market? What about a lot of these different things? I'll talk a little bit about that, and I don't know, maybe my thoughts on the market. But as usual, you know, it's just my opinion. It's worth what you pay me for it. So hey, you know, you do with it what you want to. But hey, I'm Gator. Let's kick off the swamp talk tonight. Gator trader. So get back to where I was. A lot on the plate. So when you have all of these things on your plate, and it doesn't even have to be the same stuff I have. Like, we all have other stuff. You could have somebody died. You know, you could just have your kids are sick and you're not getting enough sleep. You could have fought with like a spouse, or a family member, or you could just be losing a lot of money in the market, and it's putting this pressure on you, and you feel like you like have to make money, or you know, you could have bills to pay that you feel like you have to make. You could have all kinds of stuff. You know, you make up your own. You fill in the blank. It's like the X. It's like a math equation, and solve for X. That's basically, you know, basically what you could do here is just throw in X. Well, what do you do? Well, for me, I have done something very simple, and it's literally just size down massively, and notice when I'm off. So it was like today, about 5 minutes into actually trading, like I sat still for a few minutes, and then a few minutes into trading, because I thought the market was going to fade, and it didn't, and it kept going. I was like, okay, cool. And then I tried to play some of the breakouts, and I was off, and I was selling and missing my trades, dude, by like a few seconds. Wasn't even a lot. And I was like breaking even or losing. And then on the front runs, I was losing like 50 cents. And thankfully I wasn't heavy, but I was just like, man, this just ain't it. It's just like, I'm off today. I can't, like, I was slow. I didn't sleep good last night because the kids woke up every 2 hours. So they didn't sleep good. So I was off. I knew I had them here and I had them by myself. So I was off that way because I knew it was like, you can't trade too aggressively. You can't just get in something and you can't hold anything. So it was like, I'm tired. I'm in the final stages of this like paperwork of the house closing. Like, is this loan going to be approved? Is it not going to be approved? I have to sell this house. Okay, well, this house needs to be sold before the other one, is closed on. Okay, I have to do this with the buyer and the lender. So like all this other stuff. I've got the kids by myself. I'm trying to trade, and I didn't sleep good, and so I'm slow. And it's like I'm clicking, so I'm like, I know how to do this. I'm just like my clicking on the mouse is just a little bit off today. My exits are just a little bit. Selling the trades I should have held a little bit longer, and then the flip side, the other side, the trades, like this was just a pop. I should have sold it. So I was like, okay, what can I do? And then I went and put my kids to bed, and I came back and I sat down. I'm like, okay, so I've identified the problem. I'm slow today. So quick scalping in a choppy market isn't going to work very well because I'm just a little off. And then it was just identifying like, yo, I'm just a little off and I need to accept that. All right, cool. I'm a little off. That's fine. So I let it be. And instead of like doubling down on the market's doing what it's doing, I can't seem to make it. I'm just going to keep doing it. One of these are going to work. I'm going to figure it out. I just quit, not quit trading, but I quit trying to do that. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? And I think actually Google was the name I played the most in the day. I made money in Google and the Qs. I was like, okay, well, Google's really strong. And I feel like I called out a play in that on the mic today. Y'all could let me know if I did. I think I did. I think I did yesterday too, so I might be getting it mixed up. But I was just looking, and that name was strong and held up. So I did like 2 plays in that, and they were stochastic, the 1 minute stochastic setups. And I took some of them, and it wasn't because that trade allowed me to lean on my strength today. My strength today was trading slower. Like I couldn't trade super fast and aggressive because I was just off. And then randomly the kids would wake up from the nap, or other stuff would happen, and I was just like, I just accepted where I was at. And I found something that worked. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go small size. I'm going to do some scalps in this. And then Tesla started ripping. I came back to Tesla and I tried a few things in that. And then later in the day I did 1 or 2 Qs plays. And it was just about, okay, so I have this breadth of strategies that we do. It's like, oh, I have the C strategies, or I have these pivot plays, or I have like resistance, like dropping off resistance levels or support level scalps. We have all these different stuff that we do and how we do it. You don't have to do what worked yesterday today. Like tomorrow, I'm going to wake up and trade, and I don't know how clear-headed I'm going to be. I feel good generally because a lot of the stuff got taken care of, or at least is getting in the midst of getting resolved when it comes to the house. And our nanny should be back tomorrow. So I feel like, you know what, I'm going to be good, but I don't know. So I have to come in, I have to sit down with kind of that clear mind, and I have like a slate of strategies. It's like if you had a tool kit, or a gun rack, or you had something else, and you had a certain job you had to do, which trading's our job. What tool am I going to pick to accomplish this job today? Is it the aggressive scalping? Is it the, okay, you know what, I'm just slow today. Let's find a name like AMD or NVIDIA. Let's play NVIDIA. Let's play Google. I'm going to find a name that I can get an entry on a 1 minute or 2 minute pullback or something that, is going to take, that I know is going to take a little bit longer to play. So I enter this with less size, and I'm going to give this, to a stop point or something to work. And I'm going to let the play happen. And so in my mind, I go into the play as I'm looking for something else. And instead of, I put down the tool of the aggressive quick scalper, because I'm just not doing that good this morning. It's like, man, I'm trying, but you know what's working for me is really, and I think maybe one or two of the calls, Mitchell called one, I think I called one, and it was like a slower, it was like, all right, yeah, and I think Rose might have been on a call too, and she's like, this is the third retake right here. We failed twice. Okay, here's the third time coming through. It was stuff like that that was working for me. The slower, not the chop play, but like, the slower play. Like, okay, this is the third time going through. It failed. It hit the bottom of whatever candle. It started to tick back up. I'm going to take it there. I'm going to hold it for a second. Not something that I had to react super quick to. And then it pops through the level, and I'm pretty much up. Like, I had like 100% lose rate today when I was buying near triggers, I think, or break even. What up, Martin? So what I had to do was pick the tool that worked best for me today and then stick with it and not try to go back and do the other one when it looked like the other one was working. And if I did go back, or if I was going to go back, I was like, hey, I should probably go back with half size and just see if it works. And then you go back and you scalp and you're like, nope, still can't do it. Like, trying to scalp Tesla 1 minute breakouts, and for whatever reason, I'm doing it with one contract and I can't make money. All right, I'm not even going to try to do this. Let's wait for, this particular setup. And who cares if that setup doesn't come? What am I doing well today? What am I in the right mindset to play today? Am I tired? Am I sleepy? Where am I? It's like identifying where I was at and then playing what strategy best fit my mood for today. And when you're somebody who is a more aggressive scalper, I need to be able, sometimes you have to be able to take that and set that aside, especially if you're just slow, because you're not always going to be at that same level. And some days it's like everybody around you is making money and you're flat or red and you're not making money. And, you have two options, or you probably have a bunch of options. But, if you boil your options down from the million ones, it comes down to like 2 or 3 main things, and how those play out are different. But, you can accept it, or you can get pissed off at it. And you can just accept it and be like, well, why? Well, I'm slow on this stuff. Okay, what am I going to do about it? I'm just going to keep doubling down. I'm going to get it because I know I can get this. Other people are getting it. Or maybe there's something that's stopping your OODA loop process from working quick enough, and from you to identify, or your reaction time, clicking the button, or, or lag on your computer or something else, and you're just not able to hit it right. So instead of just doubling down, be like, hey, I'm not doing this well today. Who cares if I did it well yesterday and I made 10 grand? I can't make $500 today, or I'm down 3 grand today, or I made $200 or $500 or $2,000 yesterday doing this, and man, I can't seem to make a penny today doing this. I know, like, I'm doing the same, whatever it is. Well, today's a new day, and maybe there's something off with you that's just causing you to trade it a little off. Maybe your mind's not in the right place. Maybe, like when FOMC was happening, Peacock said in chat, he's like, guys, and I actually had to walk away because my kids were waking up. They actually made me miss the plays I wanted, which was the reversal. I was waiting for the day of low fail and then the pop. Like, I wanted to long off the bottom when it failed to break day lows, and I missed the whole play because my kids were upstairs opening the window and trying to wake their brothers up, throwing stuff at each other. when one would go to sleep, the other one would throw something at the other one. So ye freaking ha. I missed like a massive play, which is what I was waiting for basically all day. I sat down to trade that, like the reversal. And I missed it. I missed what would have been a lot of money for me. In a time where I'm like got a lot going on, it would really help to, catch a few nice trades in a choppy market. What am I going to do? What can you do? And after that, I was like, well, the spreads are wild, and then the ATR is dropping down to, like, at least on Tesla, like $2. It's like, yeah, you could just buy and hold, but the way the contracts are moving, this isn't easy scalping. On a larger time frame, it was, and we did catch a few good moves, and I caught a few good moves, and I did fine. I did fine today, but the only reason I did fine was just because I accepted that I wasn't doing good at something I normally do good at. And I got to change. And I got to change midday and fast. Otherwise, I could have blown out, or I could have had a bad day. And that's what would have happened if I would have doubled down on something that wasn't working. If I would have went into FOMC just super aggressive. It's like if you have this big catalyst that's happening or something, and things aren't going to work well, and things aren't going to be wild, and then you're like, yeah, and on that day I'm tired and I'm slow and I can't seem to scalp. It's not like I'm sharp and I'm here and I'm like, click, click, I got this all day, I'm on fire. It's like, no, it's like I'm having a hard time, just playing normal things. So you think I'm going to go into FOMC or with this big, like, the whatever's going on and just smash it? It's like, no. It's like I'm not trading well today. Like, I'm doing some things well, but I'm doing the slower call outs well, so that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to wait for when this move happens? I'm going to wait for the initial news. I'm then going to try to catch one of the follow-throughs. And then I'm going to wait for the reversal. I'm going to play the reversal. Or you kind of have that idea and that plan of what you want to do. And it's based around what you're doing good today, not what you're doing, not what you wish you were doing good, or not, not just how you want to, what you want to have happen is buy something and then I'm going to hold it for 30 minutes. And it's going to, I'm going to be a millionaire. I mean, Yeah, sorry about that, Martin. I saw you posted that. It was super painful. My one of my boys, like, I was shorting. I actually moved to the queues. Part of the whole, like, I'm not trading very well. Like, I moved over to the queues, and I short them. I was shorting them on the 3rd minute of FOMC, and like, as soon as I got in them, it's like they were popping around and they were fine. But I think I had 30 contracts or something, or I don't remember. And then the boys, like, start hollering, or one of them does, and I have to run up there and I have to sell. And I wasn't ready to sell. Like, I bought, and I was just planning on holding this trade for, like, 3-4 minutes. Like, I was fine with that. And I was going to let it, either stop me out at a higher range or go down. And they start crying, and I got to sell because I'm not going to sit there in contracts and, it popping around. And I don't do stop losses very much. So I was like, and here I go. I'm upstairs. And then, I take a loss on that trade that ended up, I didn't get PI, and I lost like a point. So, now I'm down like 3-4 grand. And then you come back and, I tried it again in something else, and then the same thing happened. They got back up, and then I missed another one. And I was like, okay. And then I had to settle down and make a few smart trades to get back. And it was like, I can't win for losing. It just is what it is. I'm just glad that I didn't, take 30 contracts in Tesla, or, do something else. And not blowing out or trading good on days like this, or adjusting on days like this when you're off or when something's off. Now, a lot of people are really on today, but, like, if you're really off and you identify that, once you identify that, you have to act on it. And that's like the moral of the story, is when something's off in your routine, you have to identify it and act. And you have to change something. And you have to find something that worked for you. I found something that worked for me today. It was slower plays on larger time frame, 15-minute breakouts, 1-hour breakout, like the Tesla that Mitchell was calling later in the day. Green takes reds on the 2-minute. like the retakes of the green take strategy. So there were a few strategies I was just doing really well on. So I just quit playing everything else. I wasn't doing any of the the video I posted on how I trade Tesla with the aggressive 1-minute plays. Wasn't doing any of that. I was missing them, and I was just playing 15-minute, 5-minute, hour breakouts or breakdowns. And I would just catch small points there, and I would take it because the slower plays like that were kind of working for me. And you really just have Mitchell's call-outs have really been fire. He's done good. And the thing is, guys, is like we and a secret behind the scenes, and not really a secret, but we trade a lot more than we call out. We call out things that we kind of like more. So like Rose or Mitchell, like Mitchell probably does like 20 times the amount of trades that he calls out. But when we get on and we call something, that's like I'm not saying like, oh man, people should take this or people shouldn't, but that's like, okay, we actually see something that we like this is a good setup, or I like this setup, as opposed to like scalping a trend. Like when people are like, oh, how many trades do you do a day? I don't know, like I used to do like 200. You know how you do 200 trades a day? You're playing a lot of scalps within a minute, like sometimes 2 to 3 trades a minute. And the stuff we call out are often, not always, more legitimate, quote unquote, lower risk, things that have a trigger, things that are like that we like more. Like if Mitchell's on here talking about an hour-long breakout and he's been talking about that for 10 minutes, there's something there. He's like, he really likes this play. It doesn't mean he's not trading stuff before then, unless he says he's not. But that's what he likes. If I'm calling something and I'm saying, yep, I'm waiting for it to hit the 21. All right, hit the 21. I'm looking to get in somewhere around this area, and I'm going to play this breakout, or whatever it is. It's like this is a play that's more than, it might just be a garbage scalp, but it's something like it's an actual play we're looking for, as opposed to just the momentum that we're trading. Like a lot of times, I'm just scalping momentum in names and taking PI and momentum to make money, like Rose's Amazon and Q's plays. Or Google, or more Amazon with that, when the Qs are moving and Amazon's moving with it, and you literally just buy Amazon when the PI is good, right when the Qs move, and then you sell 2 seconds later, 5 seconds later, and you get paid because of the volatility with the Qs and Amazon. And like I can take that stuff when it's working all day long. I'm not going to sit there and call it because I can't. But when we're calling plays, and Mitchell has been straight fire, and when he is like that, and when we're like that, it's like we're seeing things good. And, this is a strategy we're trading well today. I really like how this is setting up. And that's like the bigger picture stuff. It's like, man, this 2-minute is setting up. Man, if this digests here and this goes through and then this portals through this level, man, this could really work. I like this look. And you're kind of seeing that bigger picture stuff. We don't call them out because you would lose if you played them. They're not necessarily bent if we're making money. That's like JR says. He scalps. Like within one of JR's like Q swings, I bet he can sit there and scalp the Qs while he has a swing position. It's like you can do a lot more stuff. It's impossible for you to actually win listening to me call stuff out like that. Like I could be like, if I just say, I'm just scalping Tesla here. Like there's so many minute things that I'm doing and looking at, and it's not even that I'm like, it's not like super secret behind the, you could be sitting next to me watching and trying to follow me and you couldn't do it. It's something you have to learn entirely on your own by trading. And when you get good at some of the strategies and stuff, and then you kind of continue, it's like there are certain names that you learn how to trade and that you can learn how to scalp and hyper scalp. And that you can kind of learn how to do those things. Like if Tesla's really trendy and it has an ATR, it's like within a candle, it's like Eddie's 15-second chart. It's like if Tesla goes up, and I've talked about this on videos before, but if it goes and it's really, and it has an ATR of like 4+, and it's really moving, and it's going up, and then it drops down for a second, and that tape holds still for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, I buy. And then it pops, and then I'm out. Or it goes through the level, and then I sell, and then I wait, and then the price like sits still for just a second, and I buy again, and then it rips up. And I'll do that like how many times does 15 seconds happen in a minute? Like 4 times. So it's like I could technically do something like that, you know, every 15 seconds. Like sometimes I'll do something like that every 10 seconds, depending. But it's not possible to call it out because you have to see it yourself. You have to be trading. You have to like be on the right contract and buying at the right time and have a feel for the tape. So it's so much more. We talk about the scalps afterwards because like we're talking a lot to each other. Like the way it is something we're willing to teach, and I have a video of me doing it. Go back and watch my Tesla my Tesla video on like making 17K or something. I could look it up. Um, like you literally see me doing it, and it is something I can't say I'm gonna teach it because it can be taught, but it can't be taught. You actually have to do it, and you just have to get comfortable with trading it, and then you just learn, like you just start doing it. Now I'm gonna do videos of me showing you what I do if that's what you want, Gomu. Like again, time, like I talked about in the beginning of the video, I actually don't have the latitude, longitude, whatever, to do it right now. It is something I'll do in the future when I do a lot of live trade reviews and stuff, and you know, or like a show like, hey, I'm, you know, oh, my shoulder hurts. I'll do stuff where I'm showing it happen. I'm like, yeah, I've just been sitting here scalping this. You know, it's not to cause FOMO. It's like I'm telling, like if I tell CT I'm sitting over here scalping these Tesla breakouts, or I'm just sitting here scalping Tesla and Amazon, like he knows what I'm talking about. What up, Blademan? And he knows, and I know what he's talking about. If he's like, I'm playing this, it's like, it's not like we talk behind the scenes and we know. We just play things kind of similar. And so if that means, oh, Tesla scalping is kind of working. Hey, I'm just scalping like 30-second breakouts, 1-minute breakouts. Yeah, it's too fast because like this is how it would happen. I can't pull my mouse up because the way my desk is my mouse is wired through a hole in the desk, which has like cable management stuff under it. But let's pretend like I have a mouse, and my talking is slower than my mouse button. So I'm there, and I'm watching this, and the thing is slowing down, and this can happen before I can say anything, and it can be that quick. And it's more that the sell can be that quick. And if you're not looking at it yourself, then you get wrecked, because I sell when it, like I might be selling when it doesn't work right away. So I'm like, and I'm watching Tesla and it's slowing down. All right, like say we're in an uptrend and it's going up. All right, it slowed down. All right, it stopped. The prints are slowing down for a second. I'm in, and then load sell. All right, I'm ready to sell. I'm watching to see if the tape speeds up. Tape's not speeding up fast enough, and like I'll get out before I can say I'm going to get out here. Like as soon as I start saying that, it's like I'm going to get out here. It's like before I finish that, I'm out. And so how long does it take for me to say I'm out? You know, but then for that to compute and for you, and then to get to you, and to you be like, oh, why is he out, or why is this? And then you're done. You know, you're down a point from where I sold at in a fast moving Tesla, and I broke even or made money. And so you're like, what the heck? And then I'm like, okay, I'm back in. Like, wait a minute, he just got out and he's back in? Like, remember, I'll get in and out of a trade 2 times in 10 seconds, 3 times in 10 seconds sometimes when I'm hyper scalping something. So it's like, all right, I'm back in. All right, there we go. Oh, no, I'm out. All right, I'm ready to get back in. All right, here we go. And okay, I think we might go through the level. All right, I'm back in. And okay, now we popped. All right, I'm going to hold this for a second. I'm going to hold this. It's exploding. Finally, it's exploding. All right, bam, 2.5 points up. All right, I'm out. All right, let's watch the tape. Tape's going down. Tape's going down. It's holding still for a second. We're only, let's say, 2-minute candles up. So, you know, we probably have another candle or 2 to go in a Tesla run. All right, ATR is still $4 plus. All right, tape slowed down for a second. I'm in. A lot of red tape. I'm out. All right, ready to get back in. All right, I'm back in. All right, and like it's all that quick. And so me doing stuff like that, what video did you watch? Oh, a chimpanzee. So like it's completely impossible for me to call that out. Entirely impossible for you to follow it. It is something I've developed from watching the tape and doing it, just like Rose's Amazon Q calls. And like when she does that, like she can talk about it. And if you know and if you trade it, you can learn. But it takes a lot of losses. It takes a lot of time. It takes watching when contracts move in the tape, just time in front of the chair and just doing it to actually figure it out. And like in the afternoon, I can do that when it's just me, but there hasn't been any plays like that in a long time. So until the plays start happening, I can't call it out or do a video to show you guys how I do it. I do have previous videos of me doing that. And so it just can't be called. Like, it can't be called fast enough because you're going to be a second or two behind. And I'm out, and a second later, like I literally have videos, like the Trader V videos, of me showing me get out of Tesla because the level 2 didn't do exactly what I wanted. And a second later, it's 2 points. The contracts drop a point or two. Like, you have to be on when you're doing that. And you have to be willing for the risk. So somebody just following me doing it could not do it. You have to know how to do it. And I can do it a million times, but if you're not practicing, and if it's not something that you do, and you're not watching tape, it can still happen now. JD, it's like Jay-Z, but JD. It can still happen now. There's still days when I do that, and that's kind of the point of the part of the video, is I do that a lot, and it wasn't working today. Like, I couldn't make money that way. The only way I made money today was slower plays because I was slow. And I realized that, and instead of doubling down on what I did in the video when I showed, like, oh, I made 18K in Tesla or whatever it was. I don't remember. Go back and watch the video. How I played it, I couldn't play it that way today. I was slow by a second, and every time I clicked, I was just a little slow. And I explained the reasons earlier why I was a little slow, and I adapted to that. I said, okay, I can't trade that way today. Okay, I know other ways to trade. It's like, oh, I'm learning some of the stuff that Kelly does. Why is it important to grow as a trader? Or I'm learning some of the stuff that Kelly does. I'm having a hard day scalping. All right, so I'm going to play Google. Why? Google, I have to sit in for 2 minutes to 5 minutes to kind of get my trade. I'm going to take a trade. I'm going to take 10 contracts to the Qs, and I'm going to hold them for 40 minutes. 30 minutes, like based on like Geronimo's call or something, based on these levels. I'm going to wait for green takes reds in Tesla, 5-minute breakouts and 15-minute breakouts, hour breakouts. I adapted, and it's the only thing that saved me. Like, I'm tired now. Like, if it, I'll have to get some sleep soon, because it's like, if I didn't do that, if I would have been, if I would have continued, like trying to click, tape slowing down, tape sped up, tape slowed down, like it wasn't working the way the tape was moving today, and I was just a second slow on all of my buys and sells, so I was losing, and the PI wasn't great enough to make up for it. So it was like, hey, change how you're trading. And I identified that very early within the first like 5 to 10 minutes. And I wasn't trading heavy because it was still part of my plan. It was like rules: don't trade heavy, tired, didn't sleep good, wait for FOMC, market probably fades, don't be aggressive long. And it was just like little things like you just want to make a note of. And then, I followed them, followed my rules, and I changed. And because I changed, it helped me. And it kind of helped my day, even though with the kids waking up in the middle of FOMC really jacked me up. Would have had a great day if it wasn't for that. And and you can't get mad. It's like, can't get mad at them, like, oh, they're sick, and and they're waking up. It's like, they don't know, you can't. It's like, hey, I'm just not gonna trade. And it was just like, hey, I'm gonna wait, and maybe I get 1 or 2 good trades if something sets up, and that's it, because I know my tendency to bend into something, and if it doesn't happen, then and other people played it better than me today. I'm cool with that. I love it when other people are making money and are doing good and are really on fire. Yeah, I sell to pops right now, Martin. I only hold for triggers if I'm doing really good, or there's a big reason for me to take it, like the Qs are like nowhere near resistance, and Like, I'm not holding for, like, next week. The market might be amazing, and I might be holding, I might be holding for triggers. Right now, I'm selling the pops quickly, and I'm taking my 50 cents. I usually sell the first pop through a trigger every time right now, and then I rebuy for the second one. And I scalp that one too. Instead of trying to play a hold, unless I'm doing a Kelly strategy, like a longer hold strategy, I just take my quick trade, and or Geronimo Q strategy or something. Like, I just take my quick trade. And I sell a pop. In the future, like, I'll let you know when I start holding longer and stuff. And if I'm still in a trade and I'm looking at a trade long, I'll tell you guys, like, I'm looking to hold this and I'm giving it this level. We'll see what happens, But right now, everything's just sell the pop. And every day it's going to be sell the pop for me or drop until the market proves to me otherwise. So it's like, on a day, I'm going to sell the pop 2 or 3 times. And then if 2 or 3 times it starts running and you just see, man, there's volume coming in, man, this is going, then I'll switch and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to buy, like, below the trigger. I'm going to hold for the trigger, and I'll change a little bit. But until the market changes, I'm not going to just wake up tomorrow and be like, okay, I'm holding for a trigger. I'm just going to take the money when I see it until it changes, Martin. That's like especially after a red day, that's like the best thing you can do, in my humble and, opinion. If I was talking to myself, is just take the money. What do you mean, like, small cap? Like, what names are you looking at King? When it's a legit setup and it's holding a level, I guess would be a better answer, Martin. And then King, whenever you answer, I don't know, like, what stuff. So it's like that hour-long breakout in Tesla right here, and I need to go to a different chart. This is my 2. This is my 1. Let me go to my other chart. So hour-long chart. Where did this happen at? So it was like here. Let me move my face out of the way. And I'm trying to remember exactly what I did here. Here's the hour breakout. I think Mitchell was trading. It's probably this one, if I remember correctly. And it was like here. I bought down here, and I think I called this. I'm like 90% sure I called this. And I did not hold for the hour-long breakout. Here. I sold the pop just because of how things had been moving. I took the money. It then pulled back down again and then consolidated over. And I actually didn't play this. Mitchell and Rose did. I wasn't feeling it. And they played it, and they actually caught a lot more of this because Mitchell's like, this is going to go through. I think he liked it. The tape was really strong. I mean, look at this candle. And he played this one really well, and I sat out of it. And he made, I mean, I don't know what he made, but that's, that's a 7-point move in 4 minutes. So, you had a failed breakout here, and then it goes back through. It's just really you and your confidence in the name and what the market's doing. You had a green takes red here. It goes through the green takes red. There's not really a great answer because here, if you held for the trade, you lose. Here, if you hold, you win. Now, you might not have lost because you might have got in down here, and then if it fails, you get out really quick, and you just take a little bit less of a win. And then it chops back down, and you wait, and then if you catch it again when it's going up. So it's a tough one. It's a tough question, and that's one of the things that you kind of have to have your comfort level with, Martin, and kind of just know what you want to do. And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. The right answer is just always take the money. But, I'll be honest, sometimes I just hold. I'm like, I think it's going here. And I don't always have like a very robotic specific reason to why it's going. But I just look at it, I'm like, I'm gonna hold this when I think it's going. And sometimes it's I'm up a point in the name, and it's like I don't think I'm gonna lose that entire point. It's like I'm up and I'm cool if I break even. Is usually when I decide to hold. So it's like I'm up a point, and if this goes against me and I break even or lose 25 cents, I'm cool with that. And when I say that in my head, I'm like, okay, let's see if it breaks this level. That's what I say. So I first accept that if I break even or lose, it doesn't matter, even though I'm up, whatever in the trade. And I'm like, I'm just going to hold it. And I'm not going to hold it until it like flushes red, but I'm going to hold it to see if it goes through this level. And so, one, I'm not heavy enough to wreck myself. And then two, if it does go down and I end up breaking even, I'm like, well, that's what I said I was going to do. Next time I should take the money. And then the next time you just have to make that decision and that kind of calculus in your head again. And that's how I personally do it. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. You could always just sell half at the pop, but sometimes that takes longer and then it drops and, you lose anyway. So for King Nar, you didn't answer whatever, but I don't trade small cap names at all. So I honestly can't give you much advice there. I trade Tesla, Amazon, Google, AMD, Nvidia, the triple Qs, sometimes the SPY. I don't trade small cap names. Microsoft, like you can really look at a lot of the names I trade here. This needs to come off letter U. I don't trade that anymore, but those are most of the names I trade, with a few other ones. So I just don't trade any small cap names. It's not what I do. So I really don't know how to pick those or do anything like that. If you've watched any of my videos, or if you're in our Discord room, which link is in the description of the video, and if you guys are hanging out, like, share, subscribe, you can like the video, let me know that you appreciate this. 30 people watching, around 27, 34 likes. Hit the like button. I'm just kidding, you don't have to if you don't want to, but if you check that out, you'll kind of see how we trade. But I would tell you what I do, but I just don't play small cap names. So I don't really have any good advice for you. Generally the J, or JD, I was going to say J. I'm just going to call you J. So generally J, no, because that's personal to you. But I would say, like, on good days, yeah. I would say, like, if I'm playing with 10 contracts, $5,000 is easily attainable and easily, like, in my wheelhouse of what I kind of consider as, like, okay, I'm good for the day. But there's no, like, should be, and that's, like, the thing, and I know you put it in quotation marks. Like, I don't think you can have a should be number. Like, should be making on a green day. I don't know. I don't know how you trade it. I don't know if you're tired. I don't know the market conditions. There are some days when if I trade really well, I'd make 20 or 30 grand. And there are some days when I trade really well and I just made $500 with 10 contracts. So there's not an answer because every day is different. I would say, generally speaking, on average, if I'm trading with 10 contracts, a nice green day for me is $5,000. Like, if hey, trade with 10 contracts, what can you comfortably make? I would say I can pretty comfortably make between $2,000 and $5,000 trading with 10 contracts. If I sit there and I scalp and I'm very specific about what I do and all that, I could do that. If you bet me, if you sat down and you said, if you put $1,000 on it or whatever it was, and you said 10 contracts next Wednesday, make $5,000, I would take that bet personally. But and that just wouldn't be playing aggressive. I would just be selective with my trades and stuff like that. Which is, I guess I should do that anyway. But there's no. I don't think there's a right answer for that question. To be honest, I just don't think there's a right answer for that. I would say that's based on you and your trading and your risk and how many trades you take. You take 10 contracts and you take 2 trades. I don't know. Are you holding the trades for 30 minutes? Are you just scalping a quick, something in Tesla? So that there's just too many. I don't mean to be whatever, but it's a hard one to say. I don't think there's a good I don't think there's a good number. I mean, you know the consistency chart. Why consistency matters that we post all the time up in this place. I don't know. Why don't you just make this number here? Why don't you just do that? Trade with 10 contracts and you think you can make a point a day, log in every day, make 1 point total throughout the day, which will be $1,000. At the end of the year, you will have $253,000 minus what the government steals from you in taxes. I mean takes, sorry. So just do $1,000. It does feel that way, Martin. And that's just part of the game. And I think sometimes that's why it's good to be consistent. And here's my thoughts on that. Whatever you do, do the same thing as long as it's working. So it's like, if I'm holding a lot, you know why? It's because it's working. And then as soon as I start only scalping, I don't switch from only scalping to holding longer to only scalping to holding longer. I just do the same thing, whatever was working for me early, unless something changes, because doing the same thing is going to get you consistency, either win or losses. If you start guessing when you think something's going to change, or the market might pop here, or this, it's like, wrong way to look at it. Right way to look at it, do what you've been doing and what's been working. And it's like, okay, scalp, scalp, scalp. Okay, now I'm going to hold. Oh, that one worked. Okay, now I'm going to hold again. Oh, that one didn't work. Okay, I'm going to hold. Okay, now I'm just going to scalp this one. Oh, it didn't work. And then you start going back and forth. It's like adding another layer of something you have to be right on in order to make the money, as opposed to just like, hey, I'm just going to take the quick scalp. Hey, I'm going to hold for this trigger position. If you're going to hold and you're wrong 3 times, you know, you should probably just stop holding and like scalp if you're right on your scalp. And you just identify that. It's like I held like 3 positions today that were green. Like I took 8 trades and I held 3, and you took 8 trades, and 5 of them I was red on, but I was initially green on them, but I held them for a breakout that never came. What do I need to change? I just need to take the quick money. And that's my mental review. It's like, okay, I'm just going to take the quick money. And then I sit down. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to take the quick money. And I just start taking the quick money. And so the next 8 trades, 7 of them are winners. And you took the quick money. And so then you make that change. And then who cares if it goes without you, because you traded intelligently. You followed your plan and you won. You know, who cares if you could have made more or less? That's not what it's about. So that's how I like look at that, and that's how I trade that. Whatever I'm doing, like, I keep doing it, and I'm just consistent with whatever that is, you know. And then that changes based on factors, but it's not going back and forth throughout the day. And if it is, it's like early I'm holding, and then as the market gets extended and gets away from the 200 and the 21 and starts hitting resistance, it's like, okay, now these are scalps. Now these are quarter-size scalps. Why? Because now there's more risk reward, and so like that kind of changes, as opposed to you're breaking through these levels and everybody's buying and you're going through triggers, and it's like, I'm going to hold this a little bit. You know, it's like it's going to break out through this level. The market is super strong. This is the 3rd test, of this level. I might hold this just a little bit longer. It's like I'm going to buy it. It's like, oh, it failed. It dropped down. I'm buying it at the bottom. I'm going to hold it. I'm up 1.5 points. I'm going to hold this to see if it breaks. Is it going to break? Is it going to break? I'm just going to hold it. Boom, And it goes back to what I said earlier about just being okay with it breaking even. And those are like kind of the way, I don't know if that's helpful, but that's kind of the way I think about the trades I'm holding longer as opposed to my scalps. See money, I picked the contracts going next week because I don't have $1 million in my Fidelity account. And in order to trade options expiring on the same day, you have to have $1 million in your Fidelity account. So I don't have $1 million. I don't even know if I had $1 million in my trading accounts that I would do that. And also sometimes I trade better. So it's a mix of sometimes I trade better and a mix of that, and I'm not allowed to trade them in Fidelity. I could go to E-Trade and trade them, but right now I'm just focused on this. Oh yeah, Mitchell was fireplace. And so that's the thing. And to answer, like to throw a little bit on to Jay, your question earlier, on top of Martin, what you're saying, you could be totally successful doing what we do, making any one of these figures if all you took were 10 contracts and you just waited for a high conviction play all day, like Mitchell called out later, or like I called one out. I think Rose called some out. Like we all had some calls that worked. Are you telling me that if you sit there and you take a few trades that you can't hit that number in a day, like on the high conviction scalps that are like 15-minute hour breakouts, you know, on a candle that looks like Tesla did like here or something? Like you're telling me you can't scalp off of like a like short off of VWAP or long off of a 21 or something? Like you're telling me you can't do that once or twice with 10 contracts, come out with $1,000, walk away every single day, and then have an account that looks like that, make, you know, put you in the whatever percentile or that or this. You know what's wrong is when people start trying to do like this and this every day, and they're like, I got to hit these numbers, and you're trying for these numbers, when these numbers will pay your bills. That'll make you a living right there, son. Like, you can do pretty good. You could do pretty good with that, you know? But no, we all got to get these numbers. We can't just sit down and take 3 or 4 trades and be like right here. We got to be right here. And so, and even consistency, like this is very attainable doing what we do. But you get what I'm saying, you know? And it's not as easy as it's, you know, it's not as easy as I'm saying, but, you know, hypothetically, if that was your way you looked at it, I wouldn't use Schwab money. I'm joking, but I'm not really. But that's a personal thing, and I say that because I don't trade them, so I don't know. To be honest, I would probably start most days in this week's contract, and then after the first 30 minutes, I would switch to next week's unless I was getting really good PI. And it's just how are they trading? And I don't know if you have a small account or if you have a really big one. You know, for me, I can do a lot of trades in a day, so I would test early on the contract expiring the same day, and then as the day went on, I would move to contract expiring the next day. The thing about contracts expiring next week is they're safer, and they don't like a Nate can move, and you're not going to get that big move initially. So like even on the drop, like if you're having a hard time, even during the week playing Tesla, like today, I didn't think about it. I should have done it. Going to next week's contracts. If this week's contracts aren't trading good, you go to next week's contracts, they might be a little bit slower, a little bit smoother. You might get some good PI. They're still going to move, but you know, they might not move 3 points, but they might move 1 point on a move, and they might not be very choppy going up and down, and you might get more steady price action. So, you know, I would say it just depends on you and what you're doing. Generally speaking, I do like trading next week's contracts after the first 30 minutes on a Friday. Even back in the day, I would do that. So I don't know your account size. Yeah, Shop was better. Baba, Snow, and Tesla and Amazon. I've never been able to make money in Baba. I guess I should try. Shop always has these wild spreads, if I'm remembering correctly. So. But yeah, I'm glad they were behaving better. I did not rotate to those names. Maybe I should have, but yeah, I did not rotate to those names. Yeah, I gotta call out those names when they're working. Like, yo, this is working. And the video was behaving really well today. It didn't give me an entry. I had it and I was watching it. I was waiting for a 2-minute. Oh man, I'm tired. It got too extended. I couldn't trade it. After it pulled down, I didn't take it because it was so extended. But the video was great today. Anything else, guys? It's been an hour. I don't mind talking longer, but I'm definitely on the tired side. If you can't tell by like my 10th yawn in the last like however many minutes. Got to get rested up for tomorrow, or at least get a few minutes of sleep before the boys wake up sick or wake up, you know, crying because of the stuffy nose. Yeah, but think about that, guys. You know, if you want to take anything away from my innate ramblings and such things, identify where you're at, man. Yeah, Martin J. Thank y'all for hanging out, coming out. Like think about that when you sit down on where you're at today and how you feel, and take your trades and what you're doing and your plan and all that. Figure it out. Figure out where you're at, and then from there, you can kind of go from there with your day. But if you're not trading great in something, do it something else. No, there's no minimum in Fidelity. No, there's no minimum. I just put I don't even think I put anything in when I start. You just have to tell them what you're doing. I think I just did 30K when I opened mine. I just started it with that. I had more, but I was like, I'm just going to put 30K in at the start. Yeah, there's no minimum that I'm aware of. It's just an LLC. Thanks, Kat. So no, there's no minimum in Fidelity that I'm aware of. No, it's something I'm going to try at some point, Blademan. Or Brett, I could say. But it's something I'm going to try at some point. It'd be easier, I think, to do some of the plays, like the range plays where you have a hard stop, because you actually have a legitimate number that you're going to hit for your hard stop. When I'm doing like a hard stop with options, it's like, yeah, but this could be like 1 point or 5 points. It's like, I don't know. So it's harder to do a hard stop with options depending on the name that you're playing. No, I haven't. I will give it a shot at some point. I think it could work, but I'd have to put more money in my account. Because remember, I generally don't keep my accounts over 100,000. I take the money out. I like to keep them in that 50K range, because it kind of keeps you on like your toes where you can't lose everything. So I kind of just keep my accounts in that range. And right now the market's not good enough for me to be trading 30 plus contracts. So I just trade 5 to 10 contracts and everything, and 50 to 100K is enough to do that. And I'm fine with that, so I just keep everything there. If I do decide to do that, do some common scalping, I'll probably put more money in, so I have more intraday buying power and all that stuff, so I can actually borrow and scalp with that. I'd have to do that. But yeah, it's something I'll look at. It's never something I've tried to do. It is something I've considered, and something it's something I want to add to my repertoire. Let's put it that way. Even in the Qs and in AMD, NVIDIA, because I find names like AMD and NVIDIA, like as far as the stock price, easy to trade. It's like, yeah, like I am looking at this, I'm like, yeah, I could do this. It's like, this is gonna move, and then I trade the options and I lose. I'm like, son of a gun. Like, for crying out loud, you're taking AMD and it's like, this thing is moving. I made like 10 cents in this name. And it's all about like picking the right contracts. And NVIDIA, it's like, yeah, it popped. And then it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, the name popped. And then you only got like half of the drop of the pop, but the options are already back down below where you got them. And it's just like, come on. And it can just be like that for me sometimes. So I've just kind of stick away. AMD I like more, but I've stuck away from NVIDIA. But I watch NVIDIA, I'm like, I could trade this with common. And same thing with the Qs, so it is something I'm going to try to do. So yeah, but I just need to like, I'd have to put more money in my account. Yeah, anyway, it's something I'll try at some point. Not something I'm going to do in the, like, I don't know, maybe I'll do some trades tomorrow with it. We'll see. Not in Tesla, but like in the Qs. Alright guys, thanks for hanging out. If you did, like, share the channel with other people, subscribe. If you want to hang out in Discord, links in the description of the video. I'll catch you guys tomorrow in the Discord for the Market Open, the Newsbeat live room, wherever else. Have a good night, bandits. I'll catch you later.